is denuclearization of the peninsula, and we're going to continue the maximum pressure campaign that has been ongoing to North Korea until we see concrete actions taken towards complete and total denuclearization.
Does that mean no sanctions lifted until that's achieved, or are you willing to go incrementally?
Certainly no sanctions lifted until we see concrete actions taken by North Korea to denuclearize.
The president said in his tweet that they had agreed to denuclearize. Where did they do that? Have they already agreed to do that?
Certainly in a number of the conversations, including the comments I'd refer you back to, also South Korean President Moon, who has said that North Korea has expressed a will for complete denuclearization, and certainly that's the focus of any conversation and negotiation that the United States will have with North Korea. Steve?
To what extent will the Iran nuclear deal come up in the conversation between the President and President Macron? And what does President Trump want to hear from Macron on this thing?
Look, I'm not going to get ahead of any conversations that we expect to take place over the next couple of days. As you know, they just landed a few minutes ago and haven't even arrived here at the White House. I'm not going to presume what those conversations will look like. We certainly expect that will be part of the conversation, and we'll keep you posted if we have any specific details to put out about that.
Is he still leaning toward decertifying the deal when it comes up again on May 12th?
I don't have any announcements on that front, but the president has been extremely clear that he thinks it's a bad deal. That certainly has not changed. Jim?
I wanted to ask you a question, sort of following up on what you were asked this morning about Michael Cohen. It was noticed by some that you didn't close the door one way or the other on the president pardoning Michael Cohen. What is your what's your read on that right now?
It's hard to close the door on something that hasn't taken place. I don't like to discuss or comment on hypothetical situations that may or may not ever happen. I would refer you to personal attorneys to comment on anything specific regarding that case. But we don't have anything at this point.
I was asking you about a tweet that the president put out last week. He tweeted a lot over the weekend, but last week he said he was talking about sanctuary cities in California and saying there's a revolution going on in California. So many sanctuary areas want out of this ridiculous crime-infested and breeding concept. I haven't had a chance to ask you about that tweet. When he used the word breeding, was he making a derogatory term about Latinos in California, that they breed a lot, or that they're prone to breeding?
No, he's talking about the problem itself growing and getting bigger. Sorry, I've answered a couple. Justin, go ahead.
I also wanted to follow up on a couple of the president's tweets. The first was earlier this morning. I'm wondering if you could explain the president's tweet that he'd ordered DHS not to allow large caravans of individuals into the country. So if you can say both what specifically he ordered DHS to do and what that would mean for individuals claiming refugee status within the United States.
So the president continues to monitor the ongoing situation. A sovereign nation that cannot defend its borders will no longer be a sovereign nation. The Trump administration is committed to enforcing our immigration laws, whether people are part of the caravan or not. If you enter the United States illegally, let me be clear, you've broken the law, and we will enforce the law through prosecution of illegal borders. While we are committed to doing everything we can on the border to secure our nation, we need Congress to do their job as well and to pass legislation to close the legal loopholes and prevent us from securing our borders and protecting Americans.
The other tweet that the president did over the weekend, he said that he didn't see Michael Cohen flipping to get out of trouble with the government. I guess that prompts two questions. The first is what the president believes his personal attorney might have done to get him in trouble with the government, and secondly, what the president's done that he is worried Michael Cohen could flip the power.
The president's been clear that he hasn't done anything wrong. I think we've stated that about 1,000 times. Beyond that, I don't have anything to add beyond the president's tweet. Matthew?
Thanks, Sarah. There have been a number of documented cases in the press recently of EPA Administrator Pruitt, at least appearing to be dishonest, requesting raises for aides, about his relationship with a lobbyist who had business before the EPA, to name two. Is the White House concerned at all about this pattern, and is there concern about him testifying before Congress on Thursday as scheduled, where these issues are probably going to come up?
We're continuing to review a number of the reports that you mentioned, and we'll let you know if we have any changes on that front. Ashley? President Macron is hoping that a proposed side deal between U.S. and European powers could strengthen the Iran deal and not that President Trump would feel comfortable staying in it. So is that sort of a fool's errand, and the president has said it's a bad deal? Does he believe there's anything that could be done to fix it in a way he would be comfortable with? Again, I'm not going to get ahead of any potential conversations that are going to take place over the next couple of days, but as the administration has policy announcements, we'll be sure to share them with you.
Sarah, thank you, Sarah. Just to go back to Jonathan's question about North Korea, the president tweeted pretty flatly they had agreed to denuclearization, and then you're saying that they're just agreed to talk about it. What is the president's definition of complete denuclearization?
Again, I'm not going to negotiate with you guys. I'm going to leave that to the president and Kim Jong-un to walk through what some of those details would look like when that meeting takes place. But I can be very clear that we expect it not to just be mentioned in words, but there have to be concrete actions that take place towards total denuclearization of the peninsula.
Does that mean removing all nukes, our nukes?
Again, I'm not going to get into the negotiations of what will take place and what the agreement will look like, but there have to be concrete actions that stop the denuclearization of the peninsula.
President Macron appears to have a very robust agenda coming to Washington. He wants to change the president's mind on a lot of different things, on the Iran nuclear deal, on keeping U.S. troops in Syria, on tariffs, and maybe even on the Paris Climate Accord. Does he have an open mind? Is it possible that he will change his mind after President Macron gets through with him?
I think that I feel very confident that we have the best negotiator at the table. Look, you have two leaders that have an incredibly good. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. That's not what I said. I said that we have a great negotiator at the table. I certainly was not commenting on President Macron's abilities, simply stating the obvious that we have an incredibly good negotiator at the table for the United States. But what you do have are two leaders who have a great deal of respect for one another, who have a great friendship. Certainly both have a great deal of interest in doing what is best for their country, but being able to have very open and candid conversations because of the relationship, not only that the leaders have built, but that has existed between the two countries long before either of these individuals arrived on the scene, and we're going to continue that relationship, but I think we can expect this to be a very productive and very positive state visit for both countries.
Could the
I said for
president
both
change
countries.
his mind on some of
Again,
these
I'm not
things?
going to get ahead of conversations that are going to take place, but as we have any policy announcements, I'm sure you guys will be the first to know. Again, the president wants to make good deals for this country, and if he feels like he can make a good deal that benefits this country, he's certainly going to engage in those conversations. Peter?
So why should North Korea believe that the U.S. is an honest broker when the president has said publicly that he would like to get out of the deal the U.S. and others made with Iran?
Look, the president's been clear from day one that he thinks that's a bad deal. I don't think any deal that he would sign and agree to, he would consider a bad deal. The president wants to do what is in the best interest. The president wants to do what is in the best interest of our country, and even in the world, and particularly having North Korea and the Korean Peninsula free of nuclear weapons, I think is a good thing for everybody, and I think even you would be hard-pressed to find something different. Steve?
What you said
Sorry,
about
Peter, I've got tight time. I'm going to keep
I think we
Steve?
should.
Yeah, Sarah, I just want to follow up on that about North Korea. I'm wondering what gives you any optimism that the North Koreans are really looking to denuclearize because of the statements that they're making. Everybody seems to be jumping on the very positive aspects of the statements, but they're also saying over the weekend that their completion of the nuclear arsenal, which they call their powerful treasured sword, firmly guarantees forever the country's security and well-being. That doesn't sound like any wiggle room on denuclearization.
Certainly, we're not going to make mistakes from previous administrations, and we're not going to take the North Koreans simply at their word. Like I said before, and we've said many times before, the maximum pressure campaign is going to continue until we see concrete actions taken by, look, we're not naive in this process. We've seen some steps in the right direction, but we have a long way to go. We also have seen a major change in what has taken place in the past by having our allies and partners in the region step up and do much more than they have in the past. China has taken a more active role in putting pressure on North Korea. They can certainly do more. We hope they will, and will continue working with us. And that's all at the direction and because of the relationship that the president has built with President Xi of China.